Hold on. Do you remember who you are? Do you? Let's see. How does this place work? You're a living allegory. I'm not going to jump into that today. Last time I did it live, I've only done one. I ended it with saying we'll talk about consciousness and the belief structure. So that's what we'll talk about. But this is extremely, extremely simple and the exact opposite of everything that all of society has been programmed into the collective with. And so almost nobody's going to agree with it and jump on it right away. But my opinion is what every ancient teaching and stage is pointing at. You are the living allegory. Everything is an allegory. What I'm about to say now is an allegory. Everything anyone's ever said to you ever is an allegory. They just don't know it because they don't know exactly what's going on because they've been told the opposite. Nothing is fixed. You see that? Nothing is fixed. Everything is fractal. And simultaneously, everything is flow. Always, always, always. So we're going to get into belief structure. This is not planned out. Just going to go how it goes. What's occurring here? What I said in the last live, what I've ever said to anyone, what anyone is basically genuinely ever said to anyone, is of their core belief that they don't even realize is the filter that is allowing them to be able to perceive. And we perceive the state of our frequency, which is the frequency is all already here, which is what is operating within a flow of the soup of consciousness. The vibration is dictating what frequencies we're attaching to, and the resonance is our aura, our being, our circumference. And so everything is an attempt to communicate resonance. It's also all behind that a story, an allegory. The allegory is giving energy, intentional energy to the spark. The spark and the space come together, that creates friction. Friction releases light. So the spark and the space coming together, the spark itself is cymatics, is music. You're walking into the music of you. Everyone is. When I say you, I mean me too. However, we are mostly I erased it, but I'll put it back up there. We are mostly operating within a mechanism of the collective music. So we're all dancing to the light being projected by the music of the collective. And that's why it's so odd in this time between times, this changing of ages. So some folks can see, some folks are like starting to see beyond their previous veil, and then some folks can't see. And that's not good or bad. It's just that, like, what I'm going to say now, I'm trying to find a way to say it because those that can see don't need this. And so maybe I'm talking to kind of those that can see, but they're seeing beyond their previous veil to a certain degree. So our belief structure is way down deep. It's a filter. It is what we are allowing, but we can't get in there just like by, I want to get in there. This has a human around it. I put it there for a reason while I was showing it to my kids, but I'm going to erase it. I just kept it here so I could say this. Via the subconscious, we are projecting through our consciousness, sends out unique pattern of frequency imprinting upon this realm's energy, which reflects the frequency patterns back to your perspective via events effects. So all of that functions within consciousness. Let me put these other three up here. So we have this place, then we have the collective, then we have the individual. And these are all like toroidal fields of energy flow. This place, I mean all galaxies, everything. Now, I've been a little bit more like somebody over here. I completely separated myself from everything. Sat by myself for a long time, started figuring shit out, didn't know how to say it. I'm coming a little bit back to be like this, and there's a lot of folks that are like that. And those are folks that can see. The folks that are currently in the proper position, right in the middle of the place and themselves and the collective, cannot see. That's the conundrum that we're in. And it's all perfect. It's all good. It's because they're basically fully controlled by the collective, and the collective in this time between times has been programmed as a feedback loop of repetition of fear. Everything is a feedback loop, a self-serving system. It's all good. Life itself functions like this. It's an analemma and just keeps going back on itself in perpetuity. And that is the pattern of growth, always. And yet, we have been in a layer that's coming back as a feedback mechanism of fear. You see that? So it's coming back down like that. And now it's turning like this and going up. And it seems fucking crazy because everything is going the opposite direction. But it's the way it's supposed to go because it's going to go back up and then bend again. The collective has been programmed as a repetition of fear, so everybody's holding on to fears and then projecting them back out through their own consciousness. So I'm going to erase the mind around it. Shit. It'll just stay up there. I'll erase it later. You are divine, limitless spirit energy, and we'll get to that. This is not actual layers of consciousness. There is no actual layers of consciousness. There is no actual separation of frequency. There is no actual separation of gamma and delta and alpha and beta, theta. There's no fucking separation. It's just that you can measure things and describe them in certain areas because they seem to be giving a different effect. But there's no actual line separating anything. There's no actual separation from superconscious to subconscious, but it's mostly the state of your being plus what you're paying attention to. So, superconscious is closer to the real you. Subconscious is you operating and paying attention to and communicating with others, eyes open now. Unconscious is what runs everything. Lower unconscious, there's a there's a filter, a foundation. There's a filter within the foundation of the lower unconscious, between the unconscious and the subconscious. Again, not linear. The subconscious is the womb that everything drips into and then projects back out into this reality. It functions based on consciousness itself. In the lower unconscious, between I draw it as a tree for a reason, because you have your sun, moon, and stars, the energy of this place, which is also consciousness, coming into and feeding the canopy, feeding you. But the real strength is in the unconscious, holding everything up. There's an owl there in the unconscious because it's always watching, always functioning. The unconscious is everything. My definition, not anyone else's. It doesn't even matter. It's just another allegory. In the lower unconscious, that's the muck. That's the first place. That's where the seed was curated and came to life. That's where everything is around. It's the safest joint. That's the inner child's room. That's the ego. That's everything's in there tightly. It's like a mangrove root system. It's mucky. You can clean out all this other stuff pretty easily. But to get way down deep in there, the self-conscious can, like affirmation, talk to the unconscious. But the superconscious must go in and talk to that very core, what I call book of belief, that belief structure. And belief is a word that we use all over the place, but I'm saying it as everything is looked at. You're not in the matrix. The matrix is in you. It's a filter that you've accepted via the telepathy. And so when you separate from just giving the energy, you're not in the matrix anymore. But then you're like, oh shit, I'm in this weird hero's journey by myself. What the fuck now? You got to figure it out. And that's basically what every story is. So deep down in the belief structure, there's a filter of everything in which you are unintentionally allowing. And most folks that are in the proper position, their entire belief structure, their entire systematology of all life, what they really, really know to be true is only what has been told to them, not what they found within themselves. A little bit what they found within themselves, but even that was led to them by what was told to them. And so that's why there's a requirement for a rites of passage to go out here and do this weird shit by yourself and then come back to the collective as the new you, now that you have a comprehension, because nobody can hand it to you, of how this place actually functions. It's a reflective mechanism of external fears provided in this loving environment to give you the opportunity to see the fears and then find what actually attaches to that within myself. There's little fears in there that you're meant to release by addressing and then forgive everything and then grow and grow and grow. So we must address these mind boxes. And every time we open a mind box, we grow and then we fill up another mind box. And then we have to address what the external fears are showing us, like the New World Order, anything, right? Or a crocodile. And then we see within ourselves, what is it that's actually occurring within me that is pointing to a filter of something I'm holding on to, which is keeping me from actually addressing and being the real me? Why is it that I'm not living as a divine being? Why is it that I'm living small? I'm living small because in my book of belief, in my core belief structure, way down deep in there, is a filter which I'm holding on to and allowing life to flow through. So life flows through, but what goes into the subconscious is always filtered by the belief structure. Always, always, always. So we cannot project out. It's like manifestation. That's not what I'm trying to talk about. Going on right here. But this is kind of the mechanism of manifestation. Everything's manifested. It's just how we work. But anything that goes into the subconscious, again, this is not how most use the term subconscious, must go through the unconscious and at the bottom, the belief structure. The belief structure is filtering everything that goes through. So you're not going to get anything in your subconscious, which is just naturally projected back out into reality. And you're not going to receive it back if it's not something that you actually at your fucking core believe. And you're in the absolute deepest level. You have to truly believe it. You can't force yourself to believe it. You can't force anybody else to believe shit. So that's the entire mechanism of kind of the trick of all programming of all life. It seems like it's not that important, but that's the fucking thing. So there's an old Jesuit saying, give me a boy to the age of 7, I'll show you the man. Because in their deepest state, I'm not for or against religion, it's just whatever. But at their deepest state, what they're talking about is you give somebody beliefs and they make them their own. And like how many kids today's Easter Sunday, are imprinting in themselves because they're serving the collective, holding on to a story. This isn't for or against Yeshua or anything. It's just what's going on. They're holding on to a story, and that story is so deep in them that they feel that they're right about it and it's something good about it. And so they're defending it now. And they don't know they're doing it. And it's all on a deeply unconscious level. So it gets past the unconscious into this foundational level. Lower unconscious doesn't really make sense. Okay. It's a foundation, and the foundation is filtering your flow of all life. Because life is not happening to you. You're not in life. You're in this place, but life is flowing through you, like up from your feet and through your back. It's going forward, and you're fucking walking into it. You're walking into the life that you're unintentionally projecting through your subconscious. Everyone is doing it together combined in the collective. Also, this place is alive and it's doing it. In this time between times, this place is basically, with the celestial changes, waiting for the collective. This place is like the body of the collective, and your body's telling you the story of what you've been through, right? That's kind of like, if you look at this thing came from here, but it's telling me, okay, this is what you need to address. This is where we've been. This is what we've been through. This is how old you are. Like, this is the story of me, kind of. Okay, this body is saying the same thing to the collective. And so the collective is projecting out what's being fed into it. I did another video on manipulation, so we can jump over that. But basically, the bad guys just put information in front of the collective. That's it. Good guys don't really put information in front of the collective, right? Like, think about that. How many times do like enlightened beings put information in front of collective? How many times do like manipulating beings put information in front of collective? It's like 0 to 100%. It's not even close. And so it's not the bad guys actually doing anything. They're just putting fucked up information in front of everybody. The enlightened beings are not participating in that. And then those that don't really know what's going on are staying in the middle, and their combined divine energy is just naturally projecting it out, and everybody's walking into the program that the bad guys put out there. It's like there's not even a problem. It's just nobody knows what the fuck is going on. And so we are here as divine limitless spirit energy to bless this place. We're also here to grow ourselves. And I'll get into what I think our self really is. But just think about this for a second. We're here to bless this place. And yet, how many folks that we've ever met, pretty much 100%, are actually scared of this place? And scared of others. And then scared of themselves. So if we're here to bless this place, and we feel like shit's fucked up, and we're scared, well, where did that fear come from? Like, rewind a little bit. How the fuck is that even occurring? Like, it's almost to the point where nobody believes they're here to bless this place. Well, everything is functioning on your divine attention. Everything is watching you. Everything is alive. This place is literal consciousness. So, to get back to my original point, consciousness, in my opinion, A lot of people use it kind of interconnected with the mind. Consciousness is the mechanism allowing everything to function as fractal and flow. I wrote that down because I can say a lot of different definitions of, words. So that what I'm trying to get to there is that there's this etheric energy. There is what's considered to be a certain form of plasma. Like the water in your cells is plasma, but plasma is also like the firmament or just any energy form that makes up everything. So basically, it's this soup, it's this goop in between everything. It's what's holding everything together. It's also what empowers all electromagnetic flow everywhere. Like you ever know, like a Tesla coil? You ever notice like everything's already here, free energy, stuff like that? Well, it wouldn't function without this like electromagnetic goop, but it can't just flow around for no reason. It's flowing within what I consider to be consciousness. So I'm using different terms here, but this is how I actually think it functions. So your belief structure is the allowance of what you're allowing and the collective, but what you're allowing to be projected by your subconsciousness, your consciousness, your fractal of that into the greater consciousness. So the greater consciousness cannot show you what you're filtering out. You're not allowing it. And so it's the same for the collective. So consciousness itself is like this this great awareness that allows information and energy to be passed through. It's the best form for vibration to vibrate, for frequency to flow, for resonance to be. It's not the same as awareness, in my opinion. So you have mind, which is a divine spotlight, and a highway portal to a greater field. It's a projecting and receiving tool. You have a brain, which is a messenger tool of body, also grows based on focus. So somebody that focuses on intellectual things, somebody that focuses on working out, they're both brilliant in their own way, but different parts of their brain will grow. So it's always perpetually growing, but it's sending and receiving messages from the body. Also doing the same thing with the mind and with consciousness. But these are terms that are used like interconnectively. They're separate things, but everything is all one. The heart is the core of your spark, which is the prism of your soul. So this is what I think kind of is going on here. You are in a, I'm sorry, let's see here. You are in a otherworldly fractal, basically before here, a column of light. Divine limitless spirit energy, pure divine limitless spirit energy. It doesn't mean you'll exist. This is beyond like non-dual. In my opinion, that's of here. And that's true. But there is a you beyond that, in my opinion. And it may be that there's like a billion that make up this like soul group or something. I don't fucking know the words, right? But there is a you beyond that. Because it just seems so obvious to me. Now, what I think happens, so this is divine limitless spirit energy, okay? This is a representation of that. Now, what I think occurs is that there's some type of agreement in which you're coming here in a flow to then bless this place. Also, you're coming here for your own growth. And so this like little container is representing the ability for this to go somewhere else through like this portal, right? So it goes like into a portal, just a little bit. So just a flow. It's not a fractal, it's a flow. But then once you get here, everything is fractal. So I don't know that the Hermetic principles actually address everything everywhere. I'm fucking here. but they do address everything here. So from here, you get the toroid effect. Then you get this. And everybody says above and below. So there's a toroid effect, and it's all energy everywhere, right? And it just comes around, energy flowing through. And there's your spark. Everybody says as above, so below. Yeah, but like, how does that even apply to God? I think that it's explaining what we've come into, and not all of us is here. We are so far beyond this that a little tiny bit, in my opinion, flow, not fractal, of us comes here and has the opportunity to interact with this magical place. And we have a body, which is what gives us the opportunity to interact in density. So this is the participation in holographic density. Now this is awareness, in my opinion. So when you're meditating and you're getting like way beyond anything, non-dual, all that, you're getting to this place of oneness. Oneness is consciousness on the collective and this place level. And you can get beyond that into awareness. Awareness of self, awareness of oneness, awareness of separation from everything. And yet, in my opinion, there is beyond that, which is basically just what chose to interact with this thing. There's so much going on with this thing. The point I'm getting at is that it's bending around you and it's bending around the collective. Nothing is fixed. Nothing, including history. History is a story mystery. Nothing is fixed. It's all bending around you, and it's all bending around the collective, and it's all bending as this place. So there's 3 layers of one consciousness occurring. Again, the consciousness is not you. The consciousness is the holding of all energy and information. It's kind of messing me up here. The consciousness is what's making up everything. Consciousness is everything, here at least. However, or maybe there's like a 0.0001 that's matter and not consciousness. I don't know. But pretty much everything. It's a story that's bending around as far as we are allowing. So if you think about how the pyramids were built or any of this like stuff that supposedly is magical, magnificent, and impossible, in my opinion, it's because the collective of that time was programmed so that it was an allowance, that's how the physics worked in that period. Nothing is fixed. Fucking nothing is fixed. Like, for example, have you ever noticed that nobody ever gets to the bottom of a rabbit hole? Ever? Because life begets, because you are divine limitless spirit energy. So what you put your attention into, this place will continue to put more into you, because not that it thinks you want that, but that's what you're projecting. So the theme of the life and everything is already written. The things that derive from the theme are up to you and me and the collective. But the collective has been programmed with a repetition of fear. And if we're really, really honest, we can feel that. But it's very difficult to see from the position of being inside the collective, because it's such a strong pull. So the process, as far as I can tell, is you have to surrender, like a rites of passage, remove yourself, surrender to remember. And the easiest way that I'm aware that you can do that is you separate yourself to be able to see. Because you see physically to the frequency of your inner state of belief, what you're allowing the filter to go through. And so You must sit with your super conscious to go in and allow your deepest belief structure, which is basically your ego and inner child holding on to ropes of fear for protection, for safety. This is a good thing. Everything is good. It's just at stages of growth. We have to address things that no longer are actually providing a foundation for us and actually holding us down. It's like we're going up now. So come up with us. It's all good. You have to go in and just bless this place. Go in and bless yourself. Go in and bless this life. Go in and take care of that little kid. And again, the best way I found to do that is forgiveness. You forgive everything. Like from the deepest part of your heart, you forgive everyone in this order. And you forgive yourself completely. Doesn't matter how many times. And forgive this place if you choose. Because this everything is one, it's the part of us, the fractal flow of us that's here is also in the midst, in the goop, in the consciousness of this place. And we function on consciousness. And so how we treat ourselves, how we treat others, if we're constantly trying to people please and then hurting ourselves and not knowing it, we're actually hurting this place. We're not doing what we came here to do. We're here to bless this place. Like as your energy flow, you're here to stand in this place and get good enough at blessing this place that then you can get into a group of others and hold your intention on one thing and everybody gets around and then we all create one thing and slowly, one step at a time, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, there's a greater widening of resonance at a greater vibration, which attaches to different frequencies, in which these things that everybody's reacting to, external fears, are not even fucking there. It doesn't exist. I'm not saying like portal to another thing or sci-fi. I just mean literally what you pay attention to grows. I'm saying a lot of shit. I don't know if any of this is landed, but what the collective pays attention to grows. That's why putting information in front of it over and over works, and then they're projecting it back out. I could say this to anybody, but if they're in the middle of this, the first thing they're going to say, like, yeah, but what else? What about all the little kids that got raped and all the people that are dying? Like, I hear you. Also, bitch, you came here to do something. And when was the time that little kids weren't getting raped and people weren't dying? Like, are you going to use that to be the thing in which you never ever do what you came here to do? Not because you're better than the collective, but because the collective is fucking counting on you. And this place is counting on the collective. So if everybody is just going around going, terrible, 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 small, well, then you're forgetting that you're this. You're so big, all of you can't even come here. External fears are a blessing, all of them. The reason that we have an ego, again, all of this is me just saying my shit, right? Because this is my belief, my current belief structure. The reason we have an ego is because if you come here as a divine limitless spirit energy and you say, all right, I'm coming into this place, this place plays a trick, not in a good or bad way, but it takes away your memory. And so now you're being programmed to learn this place and then grow to the place of blessing it and then learn yourself and self-realize, but then grow through this mechanism yourself, because this isn't in density. So you're doing all that, but then you're 6 months old, you get squeezed out of this hole or cut out of your mom. And then like a couple months go by and you fall out of your stroller on your face. You can't move. You're divine limitless spirit energy. You can't function. You can't hear, you can't comprehend what anybody's saying. Everybody's using this weird ass language. You get a little older and you fall down, scrape your knee, and it hurts worse than anything that anybody's ever felt. Or your mom and dad yell in your face and you're like, holy shit, this is a catastrophe. The ego is there to comprehend what is going on, filter it, allow it to help us in growth and awareness, and awareness, because the awareness is always there. It's just easier to remember once we've been programmed when we go into meditation. So the ego is giving us the feedback, and it's also like compartmentalizing things, which is good, because you can't sit there and cry about how bad it hurts to have a skin knee forever. That would be crazy making. Nobody would ever grow up into 12 years old. There's too much pain. But we're learning through the feedback of pain. And so all of that stuff of the ego, again, ego's not bad, it's a blessing. Everything's a blessing. The ego is written in this belief structure, which is a book of belief. And so what you do is you go back into that book of belief, you take your adult hands, you meditate, you go back in there. So you could say that super is gamma, self is alpha, unconscious is beta, lower unconscious, the foundation is theta, and then the subconscious is delta. Now again, it's all one thing. It's just one frequency. But anyway, you can go into a meditative state, you're super conscious, or however you choose. Go in and forgive everything. Hold on to the little kid's hands around the book of belief, and then believe that you are living a new life. You take that and then you act on it. Intention and attention put together from the heart and then the mind. Controlling the mind equals focus. Body is action. That's why we're here. So focus and friction. You believe and act on the fact that you have forgiven that kid, forgiven the ego, and you thank it because it did a perfect job. You're just at the place where you're growing. None of this is good or bad. You're just growing. Then you start to write a new book of belief. And the more you write, you can see that the more that book that seemed like it was overwhelming just turns into a prologue. And it becomes the greatest fucking story ever, because you are living in a fucking alive allegory. You are a vessel right here, truly, also playing a vessel, playing a character as 4 stages of awareness. You are the audience, the actor, the author, and the aware, all at the same time in one thing. And you're looking at everything as if it's already here. Yes, it's already here, but it's also reflecting everything about your inner state. It's very difficult to see if you're in the middle of the collective. You must separate to see. All right, I'm preaching hard. I apologize. So, I think I covered a lot. The greatest thing you can do in this time between times is not be scared of this place. Not be scared of others. And not be scared of yourself. That's the greatest thing anyone's ever done. That's it. And then you live and act and breathe from that fucking place. I get scared all the time. I'm not better than anybody. There's no such thing as good or bad or better and worse. But you are not here to be scared. You're not here to be scared. Like, think about how much of the stuff you look at, you watch, other people's opinions, the screen, anything. Or even if you just go see a waterfall, like, how long until the thing in the back of your head says, oh, somebody could die there? It's like, how much of life is being scared of being here? It's the coolest thing. Yeah, it's not real on a certain degree. I get it. It's not real. But at the same time, it's the most fucking real thing there's ever been. It's the reality of duality. You're living in a music auditorium of yourself, mixed as Vesica Pisces of everybody all together. And this place is already together, and we are harmonizing, and you're seeing the music that's inside you. So you have to learn how to play a better tune that's more true to you, not different, not better, just more true to you. And you find that in your heart by cutting out everything else. And if you have a hard time getting to your heart, you forgive. It's that simple. You forgive. You sit by yourself. You tell everybody to kick rocks. This is what I did. Sit by yourself. It took me not that long, but I sat by myself for years. You forgive. That's it. And you get to your heart, and your heart is the prism of your soul. It will tell you what your true intention is. It will tell you what you're here to do, at least now. And then you control your mind's spotlight attention, because your mind has two things. It's a highway portal to greater consciousness of this place. Consciousness holds energy. Consciousness holds information, Akashic records, whatever you want to call it. It holds past and the future. Nothing is fixed. It's all in the soup of consciousness, including the body of you. But mind is not consciousness. Mind is connected to consciousness. Mind is the opportunity to hold your divine attention. What you pay attention to grows. Watch that shit for yourself. Stop fucking listening to everybody. Be your own leader. You can't lead from the external to the internal. That's a little kid way. That's the ego way. And that's great. It works until you get to a certain stage where you're listening to world-class weirdos say fucking crazy shit like this. You don't need that anymore. So you go in, you listen to your heart. Your heart will tell you what your true intention is for now. Get there through forgiveness. You train your mind's attention to only hold itself onto your heart's intention. So heart, start with your heart, that's one. Mind's attention is two. You hold it on there, always. It's the same as the creative generative principle. Those two things coming together, if you hold it and you truly believe it in your belief structure, creates friction. That's the music of you. When that music is vibrating, it releases physical light. This place is, you're dancing in the density of light, dancing to your music. I know that sounds like it's figurative. That's fucking literal. That's what's going on. Everybody's been told it's so far the other way that nobody will believe what's actually occurring. Again, I hold the authority to change this if I choose, but it's pretty clear. All right, I've been going for a while, so I wanted to read a poem. Is anybody here? There's three folks. Is anything that's making sense? It says, I hear you. Thank you. I hear you too. I love you. This place is the body of the collective. Your body is showing what you need to know about what has occurred and what's going on in your growth. You're a living allegory. And so it's the same thing with this place. This place is the body of the collective. And some that can see are a little ahead, so they can see the story. If you can see conspiracy, you're like right here. If you can see that this is all just a flow of love and growth and blessing, you're right here. And I got there. It sucked going from here to here. But once I was here, it was great. And now I'm figuring out how to go back to here to tell people, for some reason, what I found in my heart. So, this being Easter, I'm not a religious guy, but in my opinion, all religion is a deep core, profound truth of love that is surrounded by a confidence game. And I wrote this last Easter, so I thought I'd share it real quick. April 20, 2025. That's interesting. April 20 was last Easter. So seeing how it changes so much, and it's 40 days after, and then the first Sunday after the full moon, after the 40 days. It's astrotheology. That's what we're talking about. In religion, all religions are based on astrotheology, and that's not good or bad. That's not, there's an enemy. It's just, there's a changing of the ages, and it's telling you the story. Astrotheology is just a way to look at the story of the stars, and the story of the stars is always only one thing. It's the story of your spiritual growth. It can be no other way. That's what it is. Yeah, it can be measured. Yeah, it can be looked at. It can be named, all that, but it doesn't matter. It's already here. This thing is molding and bending, and it's open ended on both sides, but it's already written. And you have the opportunity to pick yourself up, look in your belief structure, and start fucking writing too. That's what this place is waiting on. It loves you. That's why you're here. It wants you to write. So, this is from last year, my Easter vow. Don't say an F and peep. I've always felt the fear, allowing myself to speak, to be the real me. It whispered internally. Don't say an F and peep. I knew the implications. They can't see. If I let it flow, they won't love me. They live in fear, so I absorbed it as my own. I became one of them, so I could feel at home. On this Easter Sunday, I rise to my surprise. Rescission of agreement to all who comfort lies. I vow to release the truth. I now know subtle demise is breathing a false air, synthetic in its effect, to keep you in your place, playing life in check, serving collective unconsciousness, billion butter knives at your neck. Avoiding your own greatness, the middling mean must be met. Reverence overgrown, divine art comes forth, identity unknown, stumbling with a torch, essence of the wise, meandering within, epiphanies revealed, but how to share with kin. Luminescence begins, a path of light shown, forgiveness out of sin, found footprints of stone. The way of the forest, I speak as my own. I pledge to write my heart full, allowing all to see the truth as it appears, unfolding clarity. So, see if I can do this somewhat quickly. Okay. What I was trying to say there is that sin, these aren't words I usually, sin is not a word I usually use, but Easter and whatnot. Well, sin equals incompletion of self. Forgiveness equals completion of emotion. And that definition of emotion I'm going to give you. So, feelings, again, this is all my belief structure. Feelings are present. Body to mind. Reacting to environment. Emotions past and future. Mind to body. Remembering and predicting feelings. So, this part You see that? This part, feelings and emotions, explains trauma, ego, and belief structure. That explains what's going on with little kid stuff, with men, women problems, with the stress of modern life, living in a city, anything. Feelings and emotions constantly reacting to each other. And feelings are predicting what emotions are going to be there. Emotions are remembering the consistent chemical analysis and messaging from the brain, the body, and the mind to each other. So you're just completely telling yourself a story over and over and over and over again. And the way to actually solve it is forgiveness, because forgiveness is the completion of emotion. And sin, again, not religious, sin is incompletion of self. And that's not solipsism. That's not like any type of weird, no isms, no idiots, no nothing. It's just sit with yourself. This place is waiting for you to bless it and be you. So this place is counting on you. Okay, this is the place. This is the collective. This is you. All right, this is you. Depending on where you're at. This place is counting on you. The collective is counting on you. Not only that, it's literally physically made up of the toroid of you. All of it is. So the light column of you coming through some type of portal of awareness into you, that is then basically you over here. Now, this is also the collective. So there's like a billion little yous in here, or everybody. All right. And so the collective is also within this place, and the place of the toroid consciousness too. It's all consciousness. It's counting on you to be you. Everything is counting on you to be you. And if you look really and feel really deep inside you, you know that. And everybody always feels like they're letting themselves down in everything in every way. And they're reacting to this place, and it's too much and it's too big. This place is small. You are fucking humongous. You are the column of light, of love, of everything that's ever been. You're too big to come here. And yet we're constantly reacting to external fears. Reacting to external fears is the perfect way to avoid your own greatness. I was saying in that poem. Sin is incompletion of self. How do you get to incompletion of self? You get caught up in the loop of reacting to external fears. The ticket is you forgive everything you're aware of now. Okay, so forgive everything. I already said this. Forgive everyone, forgive yourself, forgive this place. You have to really, really do it. Go sit by a tree, water, and fucking do it. It's easy, but you got to do it at least first couple of times. And then, hold on, I just lost it for a second. Lost it. Anyway, you must realize that this place is counting on you. And you have to let it go. You have to forgive. That's it. I think I ended it because I just lost it right there. So I'm going to call it. And what should the next one be on? Let's see here. Next one, maybe if somebody wants to tell me what they, if they have a question or anything they would like me to talk. Oh, the next one, let's do it on story. The next one will be on story. So it's on how the living allegory functions, on the story of you and the story of this place, and how it's constantly molding, and how history itself is a story of mystery. So, happy Easter. I love you. Prima Multis Interiorum.